This is an official presentation of Sport Fishing Championship.
Doing it once again at the most iconic fishing grounds in North America, the Walker's Cay Open, stop number 2, the Atlantic Division of Sport Fishing Championship. The bite was hot and heavy all day on day 1 yesterday. We look for more exciting action today. You couldn't ask for a better facility. You couldn't ask for a better fishery. Everybody's in the hunt for the Zane Grade Championship playoffs. They continue once again here in the Atlantic Division. This is their second stop of 6, and we're glad you can be a part of it here on ESPN+. Talk about that season-long hunt to the Zane Grade Championship playoffs. You have Lights Out Boston on top. That's after their finish at Key West, Florida a couple of weeks ago. But how they finished in Key West is how they stand in points right now. But we'll be a third through the season when we end tomorrow's fishing day. And it's just crazy. We just started, and we'll already be a third of the way through, and then heading to another Atlantic stop at our next round in Charleston, South Carolina in 2 weeks' time aboard the USS Yorktown. Welcome, everyone, on ESPN. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by the man himself, the World Sailfish Champion, the fishing extraordinaire, the Floridian who knows these waters a little bit, Peter Miller.
A little bit.
Yeah, little bit, and I love the variety that we see. It's not a sailfish tournament like we saw in Key West. We're seeing sails, seeing a few whites, but we're seeing the blue marlin this time.
This is a really exciting fishing when you're fishing out of Walkers. You have a lot of things happening. You've got upwellings, you've got really deep water, you've got really massive color changes, and you've got great fishing, whether you're inshore for bonefish, permit, and tarpon, or whether you go offshore for marlin, white marlin, sailfish, wahoo, tuna, mahi, you name it, they're out there. And luckily, we get to see a lot of that on this particular show because that's what's biting.
And we saw quite a few fish catches from one team yesterday, the defending champions, New Jersey Seabirds. They kicked it off at 9 o'clock in the morning with the first fish of the tournament. This is the team we were looking for, Peter, because when they showed up last year, they hadn't been here. Nobody expected anything, and then they won.
And then you see them on day 1 of the tournament. You saw that white marlin launching right there, and then they went into the sailfish arena. They're doing a little bit of everything, and then all of a sudden, the man in the blue suit shows up.
And again, the defending champ currently sits in second place coming into this second day.
And that's a grand slam, folks. And in the new rulings and the point structure for a grand slam, you get a bonus of 200 points.
That can only be accumulated one time per event. That brings me to the South Florida Sails, the leader after day 1. Mike King put them on the fish. And Peter, they catch a sailfish, they catch some blue marlin. They're one fish away from their own Grand Slam.
Yeah, they caught 2 blues and 2 sailfish yesterday. That is a great catch. They're putting the wood to that fish right there. Another blue marlin. You can see that fish going away, and they got the GoPro stick, they got the 360 cams going. All systems are firing.
Yeah, those 2 blues made the difference. And that's what put them on top of the leaderboard. Current standings as they are right now, it's a little different than when we started today, 1575. So just like we saw yesterday, I thought the Seabirds were trying to move away. Well, it's the Sails today that are trying to move away.
And what we hear and what we talk about is making the shots count. And that's exactly what the captain said. What was your ratio? 100%. You rarely hear, hey, we're at 100% on our bites. That's what the captain said on the Florida Sails, and that's exactly what happened. And today, we see them adding another blue to their score and another sailfish. So who knows? Maybe they're still at 100%. Yeah. But I have heard of a bunch of boats that have pulled fish off. Some big fish were pulled off. Some fish chafed off. There's a lot of things happening out there that we don't necessarily see, but the fish are definitely biting.
Absolutely, and we heard that, and we got a little note this morning from Rudy Tamarchio. We'd like to bring him in now, who's down at Walker's Cay Live. Rudy, I heard that the one fish that got away that we saw on air was actually a triple hookup, and the one that got away was only about 10 feet away from that leader, so it's really close. We might have seen our first triple of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a heartbreaking moment for the New Jersey Seabirds for themselves. I mean, talking to Blaine at the fuel dock yesterday when they came back in, A missed sail doesn't always seem like it's that big of a deal if you have a really good bite. However, the way this tournament is playing out and the way that point structure is laid out too, every single fish counts, not only just for the scoreboard, but for your own team's, psyche and their morale as well. So definitely a tough miss for them. Thankfully, a tough miss mechanically doesn't seem to be that much of an issue for them right now. That trim tab that we reported on yesterday, it's got a sizable gap, but it doesn't seem like it's doing any further damage. That trim tab is not broken off. So speaking to Blaine, he said it's still in the back of his mind, but it's not affecting the way that he's handling the boat by any means. Jokingly, he said that Rob Carmichael actually wishes it would break off for them at some point in time. So yeah, definitely a good run for them, but it's been quiet today. So let's see if they can hold on to that second place and make a run at Mike King and the Sails.
Yeah, it's surprising too when Rob Carmichael said he was wanting to stay with Mike King. Wasn't it last year? It was the Seabirds and Rob Carmichael always side by side. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, why would I get away from the one that, brought me to the dance? But then again, I started thinking about Tyler Dufresne. Last year's captain's not running the ship. It's Rob Carmichael. Is he not getting along with the Seabirds? Aren't they parked next to each other at the dock? Are they not getting along this year like they were last year?
Oh, they're still very much friends. I mean, when it comes to those two, Lights Out and the New Jersey Seabirds, they're practically inseparable at the docks. There's always, even Blaine brought a couple of their crewmen over for the Walker's K Open. So definitely no miss there. And when it comes to Rob himself, I mean, I got to speak to him as well, dockside yesterday. Probably one of the more animated interviews that I've had with Rob over the past year and a half or so. His entire team got a little bit of a chuckle when you hear him on the side saying, stupid, 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 in terms of just, the remorse of not sticking with Mike King and the Sails there, because he's usually pretty good at sticking to one decision. But as you can see from the scoreboard just from today, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. So he might have a slow day. You might see Lights Out have a slow day, but it's usually only one out of the three. They come back with a vengeance in day 2 and day 3.
Okay. We saw that one of the teams only had 5 members on board. That's East Coast Remix. They're one of the 2 teams, them and the Breakers, without a catch. What was it like with both of those teams when they come back to shore? Because that's the thing. You get to hear from them. Did they have any misses? Were they seeing anything? Did they go to the wrong spot? Because I expect them to turn it on day 2, but we've yet to see a catch from either the Breakers or Remix.
Yeah, definitely a lot of meat fish coming off the board or coming out of the boat for both Rhode Island Breakers. I don't know if Remix got into any of their meat fish yesterday. I think they had a couple that were hooked up. In terms of misses, I remember speaking with Sarah and JC just over the phone. I didn't really get to see them much at the docks between the crab races last night that you all saw from Social Hour and also from them being at the fuel dock when they got back yesterday. But something big struck their, largest rod, their heaviest tackle that they had. And the report that I heard from the boat was that they were expecting something big. They said, we're going to get ourselves a grander. We're going after that gold bounty from Carl Allen and Allen Exploration here. And whatever struck kept pulling line. They could never gain. And as soon as they thought they were starting to make gain, pulled it right off the hook, just chafed the leader and off the fish went. It was something that they either believe it was a large blue marlin or a bluefin tuna, because they had that migration that's coming out. Spawn season is pretty much over in the Gulf of Mexico, and they're working their way back up the Gulf Stream, making their way up to the Northern Atlantic. So it's possible that they had one of those beasts, if you guys remember last year, kind of the bane of our existence over in Hurricane Hole in the Gulf.
All right, before we send you off, you mentioned that the big fish bounty by Carl Allen. What's the payout on that? What is he looking for?
I believe it's about $1.6 million right now, and it's payout in gold. So quite an extra bounty to have when you're here at Walker's.
That's big. That's huge.
That's gold, baby.
Let's go
That's
fishing,
gold,
buddy.
Baby.
Let's go fishing. Thanks a lot, Rudy. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
All right, we're getting all the scoop from Walker's K down there. I didn't know about that bounty until he brought it up. I'm like, something tells me with Carl Allen it's going to be a big bounty, and the man is a treasure hunter, and he's looking to pass out some of that gold to somebody. 50-mile boundary.
You talk about boundaries. You got to have boundaries in all your relationships, especially when it comes to fishing. That's a 50-mile boundary. 5 a.m. You can depart each day. Lines are in the water at 8 a.m. and lines out at 4 p.m. You want to have that mic in the hand at 3:59 and 39 seconds and 49 seconds and 59 seconds, because it can happen just like that.
All right, well, you see what they're limited to. Let's send it over to Chloe Turner. What are the conditions like here on day 2 of the Walker's K Open?
Thanks, Robbie. Well, Walker's Cay is shaping up for a very breezy but still fishable day offshore. Those air temperatures are in the low 80s and the water temperature is holding around 82 degrees. So that warm water, just like we saw yesterday, should keep those fish active. So the waves will stay around 3 feet. We have a low tide predicted at around 1:55 p.m. and a high tide pushing in around 8:35 p.m. So this could really improve the afternoon bite, and hopefully we saw just as much action today as we did yesterday. So those northeast winds are starting around 20 miles per hour and will slow down to just slightly 17 miles per hour. Rudy said earlier it was clocking in at 18 miles per hour, but it feels so much stronger. So probably offshore, it's going to feel even stronger. So when he landed earlier this week, it was out of the west, so that's definitely a major wind shift from earlier this week in the Bahamas. But days like today can change quickly offshore. Sometimes one tiny adjustment can completely change a team's day at Walker Cay.
Thanks a lot, Chloe. Continuing changing conditions as we move on from day 1 to day 2 to day 3. Expect something different tomorrow. Uh-oh, somebody's reeling that upper right. Let's find out if they got something when we return. The Walker's Cay Open is sponsored by Citizen, official timing partner of SFC. One Water Marine. Hook, official jersey and performance apparel partner of SFC. And by the Nature Conservancy, conserving the land and waters on which all life depends. Well, I depend on my main man, Peter Miller. He's moved over to the big board, and let's find out what today's keys to success are.
Thank you, Roberto. Today we're going to talk about the keys to success, and the first thing I want to discuss is the early leader touch. You know, when you have slow fishing or it's not that great amongst the 7 boats, you want to get that leader as fast as you can. Sometimes you can get it in the first 5 minutes. You determine it's a marlin or a white marlin or a sailfish. Then you can put it on the scoreboard, and then you can fight it to completion after. But you really want to get that touch if you can first, and you want to get that GoPro in the water as fast as you can, because you might wind up fighting that fish for another hour and a half after that. Now, underwater footage, we just discussed it. It's key because you need to determine what species of billfish it is. Sailfish, white marlin, blue marlin. The blue marlin's 450 points. If you get that right, that's what you want. You're going to go to the top of the leaderboard for the day at least. Be on high alert for marlin sneak attacks. When I say that, you know, sometimes they come up, you see him, oh, there he is. He's moving here, he's moving there, everything's cool and calm. But a lot of these fish, from what I'm hearing, they're coming up and just wailing on the baits, and it's a very violent bite that they're seeing out there, and you have to be on the ready. Otherwise, you could foul hook the fish. You might miss the fish, they come off jumping, and that's not what you want on a day like today. It's really rough out there. You need every fish. You got to make them count. So good luck out there.
Thanks a lot, Petey. We have a catch alert. I thought I saw it just a moment ago where somebody was reeling. And we'll take a look back and see what happened. And it is South Florida Sails once again hooked up. This is the team in the lead and trying to pull away from everybody with 1575. Their closest competitor, 700 points as it stands right now.
See what kind of water is pushing over there. It's so sloppy out there.
Yeah. That's mid-slop.
It's just kind of, it's a confused slop. That's right. What we're seeing there.
What a washing machine effect, right?
It's a little sloppy, Poppy. Looks like he's got a bigger setup there. Fish is pushing some water. Feels like it's, at first glance, seems like it's more than a sailfish. I just have that feeling, Robbie. And you see his setup is a little heavier than a sailfish setup. The rod's a little more stout. I mean, it could be coincidence that sailfish hate that, but I don't know. That seems like a lot of whitewater back there.
They're hoping if they're going to make that ground, seabirds with a 450-point fish.
And this means that the fish is up on the surface as they back in the trough, all right? You see them backing in the middle of the waves, and they got to slow down right now. He's having trouble. That fish is definitely got to be a marlin. I'm calling it, Robbie. It's too much whitewater out there.
I like it, and I mentioned earlier Seabirds has 700 points. Yes, as far as the fish are concerned, they have 700 points, but they have a 200-point bonus. So the sales are trying to double up on the Seabirds right now. If this is another blue marlin, get ready. They're going to hit that 2,000 point.
And if it's a white marlin, which is possible,
100.
Well,
oh, yeah,
we have
right.
a grand slam.
Yeah, so I would still rather have the 450 blue than say now a 250 or a 350.
You know, that grand slam
300.
for Blaine Birch on the New Jersey Seabirds, that was his first grand slam.
Ever. Yeah.
Well,
Is it in a tournament? Yeah, that's awesome. And now we're seeing the boats in the background a little bit closer.
Well, the sails, you know, they've been on the fish. But the difference, you know, with catching what you see as opposed to getting bites and maybe not getting tight on the fish, you know, just some days you just can't miss. Now we're going to see what happens. Does the fish sink down the thermocline or does it come up right now jumping? And then we wait to see if a fighting belt's coming into play. Right now, it hasn't been long enough, but yeah, that tells me they're switching hands. That tells me it's bigger than a sailfish.
Captain Mike King putting them on the fish once again. Lee Albarty, Alex Stanley, Weston Bromsky, Brad Adam, Mark McDevitt, Ben Simmons, and Nick Johnson. They said Ben Simmons, yes, that same Ben Simmons from the National Basketball Association was actually up top
Fighting
looking.
belt coming in, Robbie.
It's time. It's big fish time. But actually, Ben, we questioned whether he would, you know, put on that belt, maybe fight a fish. He was actually one of the spotted one of those blue marlin yesterday.
He's a very giving guy. You know, he loves his fishing, and it's hard for him to not be catching these fish right now. It just shows you that he's a mature angler.
When he's also another foot taller than Mike King, so he can see even further at the top of that boat. At least a foot taller than Mike King.
He should be the leader man. He can reach out there and get that thing like extendo arm, you know?
On your side, then.
That's funny. We've said it before jokingly, but yeah, he would be your perfect leader guy.
Oh, this is exciting. We know it's a billfish. We know it's not a sailfish. I'm saying blue marlin.
Now every blue marlin that I hear about, I'm thinking about that, you know, over $1 million bounty by Carl Allen if it's a grander.
That's a very rare fish, as we know.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much money in that bounty.
And I thought that was crazy. I want to look back at that. You know, I talked about Mike King catching that fish that was the largest ever. I think one of the Mid-Atlantic events back in 2008. 1,228 pounds.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge a fish. Those people might see the boat, you know, the fish next to the boat and go, oh man, that could be, I don't know. And then it's another 250 or 80 pounds more than the 1,000, the grander. That's remarkable.
That's crazy. Yeah, they caught it, I think, on an artificial lure as well. Black Bart.
Yeah, everyone's got a couple of black Barts in their arsenal.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got Led Zepp in the background, I mean, I've had Pink Floyd in the background, Comfortably Numb, on a bunch of our marlin in St. Thomas. It's nice. That's short pump.
Just looking for anything.
That is, that's a good fish in kind of rough conditions, clipping in solidly. You got to have it set up right. You got to have it measured up so you can utilize that fighting belt and harness to the best of its ability. You want it comfortable so when you do squat, you actually get a good pull on it, and then you wind up that slack. But right now the fish is diving deep.
You pointed out earlier in the show in the hour, you could tell how much line is out. You know how much that fish has made a run. It looks like not that much line, but I mean, he's still putting the wood to it. That fish is hunkered down, not wanting to come up. Every crank he gets is gaining ground.
That's right, he's got some good gaining right now. That's some good gain. But that can very easily go away with a fish coming up to the surface and greyhounding away and diving down again.
And it is somewhat down too, or else you'd see Blaine backing up to it, right?
Oh yeah, they're straight up and down. He's actually bumping forward, if anything. You can see the prop wash behind them bumped.
Oop, oop. I hate seeing those little banjo moves, you know, the little pink.
Yeah, he's not playing around. You know, you get to a point like on your first fish of the day, second fish of the day, you might fight it a little more gingerly, right? When you've had this many fish under your belt, these guys have been kind of putting the hammer down the entire time. Every time you look over, they are doing work. They're never resting.
Got the winch, just cranking. He can make a full revolution of that that handle, and it's really not putting up that much line.
They're actually using the Shimano's.
So you can double.
That's like a 6.4 to 1.
Okay.
You know, as opposed to like a fly reel, which is like a 1 to 1, right?
Yeah.
It's a 6.4 to 1. So you see him doing 3 cranks, 1, 2, 3.
Using those legs, using that bootay to try and get a little bit of leverage on this fish. This is a big fish. This is a big boy trying to reel it in. We've got a possible 450 points up for grabs. South Florida Sales leading the tournament, currently hooked up right now, one of our 7 teams representing the Atlantic here at Sport Fishing Championship. We're looking for another head shaker here at Walker's Cay Open, South Florida Sales. When we went to break, we're hooked up with what we believe is another blue marlin catch for them. That could be a 450-point fish. But hooking up's one thing, Peter. Miller actually making contact with that leader or running.
There it is, Robbie.
Yeah, that looks.
Tailing down C, scoping up, jumping away, blue marlin central.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
You got it on camera. No need for the underwater footage. It'd be nice to have just for us to see.
We like
They've got it. They've got it. Fish is there. They're hauling butt in reverse, and that Spencer trim tabs are in the up position.
Coming around to the right. Coming around to the right.
Get ready to spin hard. Otherwise, they get in the dredge or the teaser. But I'm sure they bring in everything. There's the leader right there.
Yeah, you can see the
Wind
color
up.
change in that line, and that was the leader.
Yep, that was the leader through the tip. So that's an official release, and that's a wind-on leader. Wind-on leaders are the way to go. Let's the angler use the parabolic pressure and the parabolic bend to bring the fish in without getting the hard hand on the fish, popping them off. But they got them on camera already.
Yeah, and we have a live official here, the IGFTO. Lynette is looking at things as it's happening in our control room, and she agrees that is a blue marlin, and that is a qualified catch.
Robbie, I've seen him out in the background. Looked like he was backing down as well.
I like that.
I like what I'm seeing around here. These waters are feisty. Ooh, that's a nice one. That takes a lot of spinning right there.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get there, it goes back. But yeah, that was perfect.
And that dredge just hanging out there too. I mean, this has already been a qualified catcher just trying to pop off.
That's going to give them 4 blue marlin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
2 days.
And things are
Good
looking
job,
really
guys.
All right, get the base going back, Weston.
They won the daily yesterday on the local side, and as far as big picture for the Walker's K Open, on the local side of things, there's 20 boats in it and 2 SFC teams at the top of the leaderboard.
We're lucky.
Lucky, yeah, right. Could tell me said we're lucky or we're looking.
There's Ben.
Yeah.
Team. You know, you think he's standing on the step going into the salon, but he's not. He's standing on the deck.
not.
But I was like, man, he must be on the step. I'm like, wait a second, that's Ben.
Feet flat.
Yep.
Flat on the deck.
We saw the rod, we talked about it. We saw the rod, we saw the heavier gauge rod, we saw the fish going away, causing a lot of whitewater ruckus out there. 2 hands on the rod, not able to do anything. Larger profile reel. You know, our predictions came to fruition, and good for them. They are now leading handedly with 2,025 points for South Florida Sales, and the Seabirds with 900 points, waiting for their first catch and release from today.
The only thing that hasn't went perfect for South Florida Sales is they haven't caught that white marlin to give them the slam, but they're more than happy to trade a white marlin and the slam point bonus for another blue and 450 points.
We've never wanted a white marlin this badly for them.
That's
we always
right.
want blues.
Don't go anywhere. SFC continues, and South Florida Sales get some butter. They're on a roll. And you'll see JC and crew here very soon in a couple of weeks. We aren't the only ones in Charleston for Carrier Cup weekend. Brian Kelly takes the stage to perform at Sunset. Join us Friday, May 29th for the America 250 Summer Kickoff Concert from the flight deck of the USS Yorktown. We'll be there. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at sportfishingchampionship.com. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm bringing the wife. We're making it a vacation. I'm ready for some concert and some fun.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy BK, and I'm so honored to announce that I will be headlining the America 250 Summer Kickoff Concert live from the flight deck of the USS Yorktown in Charleston, South Carolina, at the SFC Carrier Cup presented by Hook. The America 250 Summer Kickoff Concert will be Friday, May 29th with doors at 6, and my boy Catlin Owen will strike the first chord at 7 on what will surely be an incredible night of music aboard an American military icon. Tickets go on sale today. They're available in the link included in this post. Y'all get them ASAP. It's going to be a dang good time. Special thank you to the America 250 Commission, Hook, and Sport Fishing Championship, and all of the brave men and women who have served this country. It's an honor to celebrate America's 250th birthday and to kick off summer celebrations across the nation in Charleston, May 29th. Let's go, baby.
I'm ready, and I'm also ready to see what they're going to show us here with South Carolina Outcast. I love that catch alert.
What do we see here? Are we going to see the bite, or what are we going to see here? There's the teaser. Bait's right behind it coming up. Let's see, that's rough water, baby. Not easy.
Cameraman's cheating. He's having a look with his good eye instead of through the lens.
There it is.
Oh, there you go. Blow up. And a hookup. He done got. Or as the Black Eyed Peas would say, gotta get hit.
You know, I was actually going to say that, and I thought to myself,
It's too corny.
let me listen to the guy's pitch for a minute instead of me trying to make this thing. Gotta get.
It said gotta get lit. You know, I'm surprised you
I can't believe he used the name of my boat last night in the show.
I like
You see the way he's holding the reel there? We talk about that. When they got the blue marlin, you're usually up to that next foregrip because the drag is a little heavier, so you got to kind of put your hand up there to get that leverage. But when you're on a sailfish like this, you know, there's nothing wrong with it being bait caster style.
Right. Stuart Lackey captaining the 58-foot Blackwell Renegade. We saw they were the first team to take a victory last year down in South Florida. Trying to get as many points as they can here at this event. The Outcast finished second, so they're coming off of that second place finish in Key West a few weeks ago. Every fish counts, Peter.
You gotta keep them stuck. You know, once they're on, man, it's so important to do everything right. Hold your mouth just right, they say, to be able to get that fish to the boat. But they're backing into it right now, taking waves over the back, trying to get that fish. just in case it wants to pull free at the last second.
Every place is a different point value, so maybe you're tied for second or tied for third. Whoever catches that fish to initiate that tie, whoever catches it first would break that tie. So it's very important you see like Outcast or Lights Out. Even though it's showing Outcast in third, okay, I'm looking for my tiebreakers, right, at any given time.
Yep, this is, well, Outcast had that fish first, correct? So they're still in third place, and now they will handedly be in third place if they get this release. That's a good-sized sailfish. So they're waiting for that bite, and the fish eats, they drop back, and he jumps off to the far side there. It was pretty explosive. There it is. Tipped it first and then got the leader for good measure. Right there, snap.
Done.
She's got the underwater footage.
Fairly quick work too, Peter. Now get your, redeploy. Let's get out there. Let's get some more.
That's what the good thing is about sailfish. You get less points, but you get them a lot quicker.
Great
Craig
job.
Kemmerlin.
Mitch Stewart's up there piloting that vessel. Stephen Lackey, Stratton Lackey, Dale Lackey, Trey with a catch there, Dakota Hawkins, and Justin Matson, another angler on board. Dakota's going through the thing. Did I see her rigging bait yesterday on the dock, I think?
Oh, yeah, she was punching the eyes out of the ballyhoo, hanging them on the dowel, and then they do a little slice, a little excrement release there.
Keep them on that dowel. Looks like a fish kebab.
Ballyhoo kebab.
Yeah.
Bally bob.
You see Outcast with that little gold marker there, with that 75 points now puts them ahead of Lights Out. If Lights Out were to catch a sail right now, they still wouldn't move into third. They would still be in fourth because Outcast caught that sail first. Just for the uninformed, just trying to let it know.
We go in there on the flare. Something happened on the flare there. Center, bottom.
Stand up a little bit there so we get a bigger picture.
Sounds like he said it snapped out. So he's going to give a little check, a little look-see to see if it was cut off by a barracuda, or maybe there's some weeds on it, or who knows? It could have been T-boned by a billfish, where they grab it sideways and they don't get the hook, and it just falls out of their mouth and they move on.
Mark Dressler with their only catch yesterday at the 12:25 mark on day one, so that's where they got their 75 points. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. You got to go ahead and test the waters, right? I mean, something released it, and you got to check it. Check it in
Rhode
on the
Island
breaker.
Breakers taking a look at the glow, the soul glow.
Newest entry into the Sport Fishing Championship. A couple of different looks. We got a fixed camera on the right side. So hopefully we see big picture, somebody hooked up, and then mayhem on the on the other shot.
I really like that. I really like that look because you get to actually see the tips of the rods as opposed to a tight shot of their backs and the back of and the water behind the transom. You get a little better vantage point of the big picture.
Newest team in Sport Fishing Championship on the Atlantic. El Bendito's the boat, a 66-foot Blackwell. We've been seeing El Bendito for years when we would go up to the Oak Bluffs event. But John Bowen now captaining that boat. Had never fished these waters before. Been to the Bahamas, but not to these waters.
Here we are taking a look at Remix. You got George Corzo cleaning up, fixing everything, getting stuff moving around, always working. You got to change out the baits on the end of the squid chains. That bait looked like it got washed out. So when you have your squid chain, you'll sometimes put a giant horse value or even a mackerel on the back of your squid chain. But on rough days like today, they get washed out very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're checking everything, everything's looking good. You need, when the fish comes up, you want them to commit. And if you see a bait with a hole in it that's floppy and blown out, it's going to be possibly a window shopper, as they say.
And right there's the dredge. A lot of tuna silhouettes. It looks like he's dropping in. There's squid chain you were talking about is more an inline with a bunch of fake squids, but you put one tasty morsel to give them. If they do want to swipe it and take a bite, they know like, hey, this is real.
They get a little squirt of that little juice, that little jungle juice, and it's on, you know. They can't resist once they get the sweaty bait in their mouth. You know, they've got to keep going on it.
So deploying the teasers out there, whether it be squid chains or the dredge, they are hooked up or they're looking to hook up here on the remix for their first catch of the tournament. 2 without, you've got 5 with catches, and sales have doubled up the seabirds. They are trying to run away, but this is a 3-day tournament. I don't care. There's still a lot of time to fish. The Walker's Cay Open is sponsored by Denison Yachting, No Rivals, Billfish Conservation Project, and by Guidesley, official booking partner of SFC. Get the hook up on who to go fishing with and where. You might need to hook up to find out who has the fastest crab in these waters, because they have quite the adventure at Walker's Cay each year.
Robbie, crab races are an important element when you're at Walker's, because it brings a lot of joy, it brings a lot of fun, it brings a lot of excitement. It's a pressure cooker. You know, they're not going very fast, so you're holding your breath. So by the time your crab wins or loses, there's our boy right there, Mark Neifeld.
Holy crab.
Everybody has a good time right there, and I think that's Bubba right there. Look at all that cash he's got for us.
Yeah, Bubba.
But you know, it's fun, man. To be able to do that, it's only done here. You know, I've seen it done at a hotel I used to stay at near Sanibel Island, and that was fun, but this is some next level stuff, especially when there's $20,000, $30,000 on the line.
Teach me how to crabby. There
wow.
We go. Yeah.
Wow, that's a crab twerk.
Down and dirty. And the speed of some of these guys, and there's some scouting. Don't get me wrong, there's scouting. Who's going to be the fastest crab of the bunch? A lot of money was on the line. I mean, we're talking thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on the line for these crabs.
And you see the platform in which they're crawling, it has a little tackiness to it. It's not slick. It's not a piece of fiberglass. It's not carpet. It's not wood. It has a little tack to it with the paint, so they can get their little claws in there to haul butt.
And they did. There we go. We got a winner. We got a winner. SFC team. I like the SFC signage in the middle of that, too.
Oh, yeah. And if you can't win offshore by catching billfish on that particular day, you've got a crab that could possibly do it for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Looks like the Carolina Flare might be in the lazarette there.
Shell Mahayak was my favorite crab. Shell Mahayak. That's the one.
I like Leonardo Crabrio.
Uh-oh. So what do we have here with the flare?
I believe they had an issue with their water maker prior to this event. I'm not sure if that's where their water maker is located, but they got 2 sets of eyes on it. They got to have the protective gear for the ears. It's loud down there, and it is hot.
Nothing good is happening if you're seeing 2 members of the crew down there in that area.
I'll tell you what's good, though, Robbie, the fact that they are able to get down there and do something and turn some wrenches and try to figure out what they need to do. Sometimes it's a filter, sometimes it's a fuel separator. I mean, it's a whole host of things. Could be the generator. If you don't have a generator on these big boats, I know it sounds bougie, but on these big boats, you need a generator to have all systems go. And if that's the case, you're going to go through all the systems.
Something tells me they've got a wrench and they're going to tap on it. I don't care what's broken. You're going to tap on it before you try and crank down on anything.
I mean, Chubb said it best in Happy Gilmore. You just got to tap it in.
Tap it in. Tap it in. All right, so again, some mechanical issues for the flare. Let's take a look back. I know you haven't seen it here on the ESPN Hour. Let's go back to this morning. Lights out in Boston, looking for their first catch of the tournament, and they would get their first opportunity. Ray Rocher at 9:13 on day number 2.
Kosher Ray Rocher, we used to call him.
He's Jewish?
No. So obviously we're not seeing it from the initial light.
Ray was up in the captain's seat at the first stop of the Atlantic Division and down in the Florida Keys. I wonder why he's down there in the bottom and fishing.
Everybody has their strengths in different areas. You know, they talked about Ray being a kite fishing connoisseur, you know, and that's why he was running the boat at that tournament. And for something like this, you know, he's really good with the teasers and the dredges and the rigging and obviously dropping back on fish. He said this fish came up wild, real quick, and it was a quick strike, and he had to react quickly. He's down with the quickness.
Rob Carmichael's the captain. As we move ahead in time, Rob Carmichael captained a boat. Tyler Dufresne was the captain last year, but Rob's been working with these family members like Tucker on board and Ray last year quite some time. They get along really, really well. This is the team who won the Atlantic Division last year, pulled away at the end after back-to-back-to-back victories.
You just heard them say it's probably about 100. It's jumping right there. We haven't used the term fun size in a while, Robbie. That is officially fun size. It's yet still tearing up the water
it's
like
a water
big boy.
ripper. And it shows you that it is a blue marlin. Power.
You see what he's doing there? The technique he just used there.
Keeping it low to the water.
Keeping his tip in the water.
Yep.
Keeping the line in the water on a windy day. Taking up the slack as the fish pulls. If you go slack, you stick your tip in the water and it'll be pulling against, not line wobbling in the air or waving in the air like a flag. This is solid because there's water pressure holding it down.
It's so indifferent than what I would see in bass fishing back in the day. You put your tip in the water for a presentation, but once you get hooked up, you never want to see that rod tip in the water because then you have some of that pull that you're not used to.
Well, you don't want them to jump. That's what in bass fishing. When they get near the boat, you keep that tip low and you keep the profile down low. When you have a big mahi on, the last thing you want to do is be pulling up when you have a big mahi on because they're going to come jumping, your tip's going to be up in the air, and that's when they come off. So anytime you have a fish that's next to the boat and it's going to jump, sailfish, marlin, anything,
bring it down.
You're going to put your tip down and wind as low as you can. Even put your tip in the water at times. You know, Ray's a tough guy. He's got the old man strength like we do, Robbie. And you know, he's 20 minutes in, no belt, no cush, no nothing. He's just fighting this fish. And he, at 100 pounds, he figures he's going to get it. But you get to a point where it starts to be uncomfortable, and maybe you'll get the fighting belt. You know, a fish like this could last 20, 30 minutes. You might be able to get the leader real quickly. But it also could last an hour, you know, depending on the rough seas. Is the fish, you know, are you matched with the right tackle? Is the drag right? Is it snagged? Is it like peck hooked? You know, or is it wrapped somewhere? But you see the setup is a smaller setup.
And just looking for a place to put the butt of that rod because, I mean, even with a little ball on the end, you'll have a bad case of tender middles. It will bruise the groin.
And some of those rod butts are sharp. They're sharper than the rest, you know, because they've been banged around into the rod holders in the gimbals, and it can be very uncomfortable. I know there's a couple rods that I have in my arsenal, and every time I get them, I'm like, give me the cush now. This thing is sharp.
So you see, you know, being able to place that rod butt and prevent some of that stabbing's one thing, but what they're looking for now is a way to try and put the power to this fish and just sit down on it and to use the fulcrum. That entire apparatus.
And you see Ray not wasting any energy, right? Straight arm pretty much holding the rod, clipping in. Gonna switch hands here.
You know, he's just holding ground now, but when you're putting on this belt, you're in preparation to put a little bit more pressure than you might have otherwise.
And a little background note on Ray, we actually had him over at the lake before we went out sword fishing the following day. We did a show together for Uncharted Waters, and he was bass fishing, and he was reeling against his body, with the handle on his body, because his shoulder was so beat up that he was having issues with it. So to see him here holding onto a marlin means that he's back. He's back, baby.
Rehab paid off.
Look at that, milker.
Oh yeah, you're just feeding the line.
Got a little milk from Mama right there.
Just another technique.
You know, when you fight fish, if you know drag and you know how much should be on there, you can use a little bit of thumb pressure if you're familiar, or you could do something like that, just to assist a little bit.
You know where that magic number is. Right?
If you've done it enough and you know your settings, yes.
Qualified catch making contact with that leader. We saw that it was a blue marlin. Go and get her to the boat. Might get another look at it.
Wind on leaders coming in. He raised reeling as the mate is pulling in. Leader.
Fish still doesn't want to show itself up there in the boat. I don't blame
That's why you got that beautiful underwater footage that you're getting.
Just barely saw a little spike of a fin. I wasn't sure it was a blue, but it kind of looked like it. Thankfully it was. He's angry.
Don't bite you, huh? Yeah, just one little
They
spike.
exist.
Tip of the bill.
They exist.
Looks so good underwater, that underwater camera. No doubt that that's a blue marlin. It makes it really easy for our IGFTO representative, Lynette Catha, to say, yep, that's a 450.
Hey, you know what's fun about seeing these fish underwater? Not only can you determine what they are, but I've had some divers when we're filming and we have a marlin on, and there's usually another marlin very close by. Yep, just looking, maybe 150 feet away or a little deeper. And it's pretty cool to see that. We've actually captured it on film.
That's your One Water Yacht Group instant replay. And yeah, you've showed me some of that footage before, and you said we didn't even know until we got it back to the house and looked back at that footage. We're like, oh, there were some others there. And not just one at times. Like, I remember striped marlin footage was crazy.
There they are, lights out.
See if they can find another one. Again, that 9:13, that was quite a while ago. Our Citizen Lines Out clock is going to start ticking. It got about an hour and 9 minutes to go. That'll be the end of day number 2, but a lot can happen in an hour, just like it happened with Lights Out, a 450-point fish. Gotta love that. We are bringing the bigs here to Walker's Cay. Walker's Cay Open, stop number 2 of 6 of the Atlantic Division. 53 miles.
Robbie, those are the baby hermit crabs right there. That's the training grounds for the baby crabs. It's kind of like T-ball for the little kids.
Yeah,
you know,
like
3-year-olds getting out there.
Little
That's what they're doing. Yep, they're trying to shine up their shells and strengthen their legs.
We've just got the Kentucky Derby. We still don't have a Preakness of the Belmont yet in the crab racing trifecta. Sales, you see with that 2,025 points, how did they get there? Well, we saw what they did on day 1. Let's pick it up with day number 2. 12-11, it was our second catch of the day after that Lights Out Boston blue marlin. South Florida sales, I can keep the pace going.
That guy left him.
Oh, you gotta love that hunker down.
You gotta hunker down, get low, man. Get out of the way of the other rod, too. Because they got that long bait over there. He's got to get it over the top of that.
Lee Albarty.
Another rod cushion.
I would just walk around with that thing on. I wouldn't even need a fish. I'd just have it on just because.
You can't. You know, it doesn't stay anywhere. You got to keep it under wraps. Usually they'll put it in the handles on the transom on the lids there and down in the center. And it's a great place to be able to grab it when you need it.
It'd be like going to a car race and wearing your fire suit to the gas station. You know,
or
like,
going
I'm just
on
ready.
a date.
Yeah, getting ready. All about preparation. Moving ahead on this 12 o'clock catch.
Straight up and down, the fish is ornery. He's a ornery little elf. You can hear the line pinging off the reel, diving deep. They're bumping ahead a little bit. There's no backing up when they're down like that.
See the crew looking for their underwater camera because we haven't seen it yet, but we know that this is a blue marlin. It happened earlier today, but they'll have to get video verification. If our cameraman doesn't get it, they have to have it for our IGFTO official. And look at the boat. rocking more today than yesterday, huh?
That's a lot of movement right there. Those are the days when you're tired. You get home and you don't understand like why you're so tired because you've just been using every
You've been doing
fat
crunches.
switch muscle, in your entire body all day, especially when you're fighting a fish. Those ain't gym muscles, Robbie. Those are fishing muscles.
You've been doing crunches and straight-legged deadlifts all day, especially if you're South Florida sailors. We talked about a seat earlier, but this is not the same. So the butt end of that rod, you see it does have a little ball on there. That's the blue portion.
That's the rod cushion. That's softening up the gimbal on the end of the rod. And you pop that thing
There
off,
you go.
throw it down on the floor and say, somebody please pick that up. And you want that fighting belt, you want that in position between your thighs. You want it low on the thighs so you can actually use your legs as opposed to up high. You'll see novices go out there and put a fighting belt on around their belly button. That doesn't do you any good. You want it low, right? So that is the key. And then you go to the harness mode if you need to.
Yeah, you just keep stepping it up. You go to the lap belt to the full 5-point harness.
I had a Manzier on once. I was on a boat. I said, "You guys have a harness or anything?" I was on a big blue Marlin St. Thomas, and they gave me like a bra harness, went around my shoulders.
Really?
And I snapped into the reel. It was pulling me forward. It was giving me rounded, rounded shoulders. And a little baby sailfish bud. It was like a 550-pound blue marlin.
Yeah.
And a little sailfish gimbal.
Now, in doing that, does it not pull higher on that move? Like when you're buckled in your shoulders, that's not where I want to be.
No, you don't want it. You have longer straps, so you're kind of more like leaning back, like the song, Do the Rock Away.
Lean back. Lean back.
Is that Fat Joe?
This is a 12 o'clock hour for South Florida sales. Lee Albarty with a blue marlin on. You see having to take some mechanical changes and trying to get that 450 points because it has to be a qualified catch.
Look to your left, Brendan.
They got to make contact with that leader. You got to look to your left.
Back up, Brendan. Go to the side. Go ahead on me.
There's the fish. You see that silhouette down there? You can see it much better than we can, but definitely a blue marlin, but they also dip that camera into the water. Yeah, you can see that dorsal and that full silhouette.
Popped off right there, just like that. And look what comes back to the boat. The chugger head with the entire ballyhoo. That is remarkable. You are doing everything right, man. Luck is on your side when you've got that talent mixed with it. It's magic.
So we've seen a South Carolina Outcast catch. We've seen a Lights Out Boston catch. We've seen a South Florida Sales catch. And they still have one more today that we haven't seen. So again, 7 teams out there in search of the title. Everybody looking to take home the trophy and take home the Walker's K Open crown. Two weeks from now, the SFC Atlantic Division heads to Charleston, South Carolina for the 2026 Carrier Cup. From May 29th through the 31st, Peter and I will be on site calling the action for the flight deck of the USS Yorktown. Catch all the action on YouTube and ESPN Plus all weekend long. I'm looking forward to it. I'm turning it into a vacay for my family. We want you to join us out there. And
Seeing some activity. There's a lot of activity. Everyone's jumping around. We see activity on South Florida Sales. Remix seems like they're staying at attention.
yeah, sales is really.
You see that body posture right there on the Sales? Look at that. He's already bowed down. He's bent over in that corner kind of like he was earlier.
He's hooked up like a tow truck. Again, man, what is it? What are they doing?
They're hanging their mouths just right.
Right place, right time.
There it is, billfish.
Big jumper out there.
That's another blue marlin, Robbie. That's another blue marlin.
Got a head
Oh
shake.
boy, that's a nice one too. He's coming at the boat full speed, man. Go,
Look at
go,
this.
go. It's gonna pass the boat.
Reel.
Man, this is great.
Dude,
Look at that.
We've
Look at
not
that
seen
go.
one stay on top that long.
That is beautiful. That's great camera work.
Great job.
Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan. Is it Galanos or Galanos? But Big B with the great picks. Yeah, we don't give enough shout-outs.
You can call me Nighthawk.
Yeah, we don't give enough shout-outs to our camera crew that are out there getting these shots live out on the water as it happens.
It ain't easy when it's breezy.
No, and you see how much swell and everything else they're dealing with. And
Rod Cush coming in. Look at this. This is like standard procedure now on this boat.
He knows he's in.
This would give them 4 blue marlin. Oh, we got the breakers potentially. I'm hearing from the studios above, from the voices above. We may have another hookup.
I don't believe it until I hear that sound.
There it is.
I didn't know they were going to play it. I promise.
Breakers.
I promise. I didn't know they were going to play it.
Let's watch here. What do we got going?
They're in the turn.
They're tight on the one in the corner for sure.
Yeah, so they're looking for multiples here.
Yep. You see down the center, he's looking straight back, and the fellow in the corner is way out to the right.
Yeah, so the one on the right side.
Look at that, we got a double, double trouble.
Yeah, so in the right picture, the angler on the right side, as we look at it, has a fish on. The one on the left is still trying to stir up some action from a second fish. The sails, we saw that blue just ripping across the top of the left-hand picture. They're trying to get another 450.
I love those jumps. It's like greyhounds mixed with like waddles, kind of like side shimmying, and then the gray back to the greyhound, and it just stays up on the surface. And boy, that's an exciting moment.
And you thought at any given time it would go down, but it just stayed on top, stayed on top, stayed on top.
It was definitely not feeling good about what was going on. I wanted to get rid of it. Rid of that hook, rid of that bait.
As they say in horse racing, it was trying to spit the bit.
Big horse racer, Rod?
I mean, I watch a little bit, but no, I came from a horse world, but it was Tennessee walking horses, different breed.
My buddy Griffin Johnson, he's lately gotten into horse racing. He's become the young new face of horse racing, bringing some vibrance to it.
Dude, what a Kentucky Derby! Will we have a team come from behind to top the favorite? Because the favorite right now is South Florida Sails, and if this is another 450-point fish, they're trying to triple up the field. They're not far away from tripling up Seabirds in second place.
And they have got the hum, as they say. Oh, they're playing Rage Against the Machine. That's what I'm talking about.
No better time for Ben Simmons to be on that boat, right? And doing what they're doing, because if you're not out there on the court in championship time like it is right now, he's doing his other passion, his other love, and his team is just kicking tail with the sails.
When you get into this league and you become an owner in this league and you're an angler, this is the moment that just solidifies everything that you've committed to and everything you've wanted to do. And when you're on your 4th blue marlin in 2 days, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is the pinnacle right here.
I know we,
Oh, he's coming up, he's coming up. He's doing a little milky pudding.
So we talked to Mike King yesterday after it was over. I'd really like to talk to Ben, because we're getting to a certain point, if they keep doing what they're doing, I want to see Ben in that harness. I want to see him maybe with his first blue marlin, the SFC. We saw it out of Brian Kelly last year with the Gulf Coast Cowboys.
This is the first time I'm seeing this technique on blue marlin.
Breaker's looking to break that goose egg. Just get the skunk off the boat. Like, please, please be a billfish. I'd love for it to be a blue, because if it is a blue, they'll jump, the North Carolina flare and be in a virtual tie with the lights out. Sails to the left, breakers to the right. And Peter, I don't see any tension on the breakers. I think, and a full bait too. They just come unbuttoned. That is heartbreaking. See the team trying to get off that 0 number, and you're seeing another team with 2,025 more points than that. Ready to throw another 450 on. They're getting close to that leader here.
Backing up, backing up. Go around on top. Got it.
Directing our cameraman.
He's working that fish like a champ, man. No relenting. Working that fish up every pump. Let's see how many cranks. One.
Getting a little hand help there, but you see a lot of line on that reel. It's right there. And you're watching live out in the Atlantic. Walker's Cay, part of the Bahamas. They're limited to a 50-mile radius.
It's amazing how one boat can keep capitalizing and keep raising fish and you know, getting them to eat and then getting them to completion with the leaders and the identification and the cameras. It's remarkable sometimes, and you just kind of scratch your head like, why isn't the boat next to them doing it? Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't we doing it?
Right.
And that's when you just got to get away from, because that boat has the hum. They got exactly what they need to be catching fish. They have a recipe. It's a done deal. You just got to, there it is, coming up. It's going to probably jump right here, coming up on the surface.
Now, South Florida Sales were a team, and I think they changed hands this past year with Ben Simmons taking over. They only had one blue marlin last year in their competition.
There it is. That's a catch right there.
That was Matt Ostroff last year.
Right.
See, that's the key. I talked about it earlier. The keys to success. Leader the fish when you can.
Yeah.
You got it through the tip, grab the leader, and then if you need to, let it go. But at least you know you got the points. And now you can enjoy the rest of the fight or try to, you know, bring it in, put a little more heat on it. But you see the fish right there showing a little white belly. That's when you know they're a little tired. They're going perpendicular.
The same thing. There's the other one of your keys. So you gotta make sure you get that video.
Exactly. There it is. Beautiful. Perfect. Look at that. Wow.
Watch out, watch out. Back up, back up.
Oh, we got a shower.
White belly there, a little tired. Pulling hard on it now. Now you got them on the leader. They're pulling hard on that fish. There it goes, popped off. Swimming off. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's still on. I thought it popped off right there.
I thought it did too. What line or leader they're using, but it did not.
Yeah, when you're hooked, you know, you got that. That's really hard to break those leaders at times.
Yeah. That's why.
Especially with a circle hook, because they're in the corner of the mouth, so there's zero shape. Oh, that looks like he's got a little teaser action going. He's trying to eat another calamari on his way out.
Now we're done.
Wow, 4 blue marlin for the South Florida Sales. And they can't catch a white.
What's wrong with them?
Come on, guys, you're better than that.
Oh man, wouldn't that be awesome if you? That would be the way to do it. If Ben Simmons is on board and they see that they're hooked up and they do the handle pass to Ben, they get the slam, pulling away on this second day of 3. South Florida Sales are just churning, boy. Look at that, 3, wow. Make it now 4 blue marlin. Throw in a sailfish, 3 sailfish to boot, 2,025 points. Walker's Cay Open is sponsored by the Coast Guard Foundation, Exotic Outdoors, Papa Surf, and Coastal Bridge Advisors. Wow, beautiful sunset, and we're aiming toward another beautiful sunset this afternoon. The sun will set on our fishing day. Our Citizens Lines Out clock is ticking down, 45 minutes and some change. They will have to have their lines out of the water unless they are hooked up before then and they can fight to completion. We'll be with you along the way. Getting to show you some live stuff. Robbie Floyd and Peter Miller here with you for our second day of 3. Welcome to the South Florida Sales Show, Peter. I'm your host, and you're the co-host. We have one that we haven't talked about, though, the South Florida Sales. Again, a multitude of blue marlin, but also sailfish, and at 12:53, they were hooked up with another one.
Alex Stanley on the quick bite there. Paying attention, the fish is already on and jumping. That was like a slam banger.
Talked about it being the South Florida Sales Show, and they've now had 8 billfish catch and releases in this tournament in the first 2 days.
Staying out of the way, leaning on the launcher just to give him a little help so he doesn't have to stagger around like ooh, just snapped out of the rigger. So he fed him out of the rigger, got the bite, and then it snapped out finally.
Yep.
Fish wasn't doing much, and then it went into the lunge sequence.
Went to chill mode. I like that, but we saw the entirety of it. Yeah, you could definitely see when it popped out of that rigger. So even though it already struck, it had hit, it had bit, it hadn't put the full pressure to it.
Yeah, sometimes when it's a really clean drop back, they eat it and they don't even know what's going on. They're almost looking for another fish, another bait to eat.
And that's also when they do realize it, that's when you see the fish jumping on the water. You know, they're like, uh-oh. It's like a bee sting.
Another thing, when a fish does come up jumping, let's say you're late to the rod or it's one of those suicide bites, you know, crazy bites, and the fish is up and jumping, you can't do anything. There's no dropping back, there's no nothing. Once the fish is in the air, it's either on or it's off. That's it. You just got to be able to take out that slack and pump and wind on the fish, and that's the key. Walkers.
Take a look back at the South Florida Sales catch at 12:53 today. This would be their 3rd sailfish catch, and it looks like the New Jersey Seabirds in that small box on the right side. So yeah, a big jumper on the left. Seabirds hooked up on the right. Bringing it to you live, baby. So there's their 75 points, their 3rd sailfish with the South Florida Sales. We go what's happening live out on the water with the Seabirds.
Feeling dangerous.
Yeah, you have to feel dangerous because the danger is lurking just behind, and no. Oh, well, that's it. They thought they might have had multiples. Thought Dave was going to get to double up on us.
Came unglued in that rough water.
Did he have a birthday last week, I think, maybe? Dave McKinnon or Ken Hager, I think, might have had a birthday. Happy birthday to one or the other, I think, within the past week. So One Water Yacht Group replay, so they were hooked up until they weren't. Look at the big sweeper too. You can see their path. Nothing there. That's a full break off. I didn't even see a hook. Did you?
I didn't see Robbie. It's a little out of my sight.
Well, swinging around. We've seen several of the misses or the come-offs with a full bait there. At most, there was just a hook, but definitely had it on for a while. That's unfortunate. The reason being, Peter, look at the points down at the bottom. Seabirds are in second with 900, but the Outcasts are 1 fish from jumping them. They got that extra 200 points from the slam, but have less fish, right? So
yep.
If Outcasts were to get a blue marlin, they would get that 450 and jump up to 975.
Oh, we all know they're there.
Yeah.
It's just a question of keeping them glued.
No lure. The popping apparatus on the
chugger head.
Yeah, on
the chugger head protects the bait on rough days and also creates some commotion, like a bubble trail at times. Mm-hmm. And we'll cut the skirt so it's only about 1.5 inches just to cover the head of the ballyhoo, and you'll have the hook obviously on the top of the chugger head with a ringer swivel, and you'll have it exposed. But the chugger head helps on rough days, creates more commotion, because on a rough day, imagine like a ballyhoo slipping through the water really cleanly. It doesn't really raise the attention of a marlin that's looking for something to pounce on. as well as a chuggerhead would.
And that
On a calm day, it's fine, but some guys used to use them like naked ballyhoos, and some are chuggerheads. Some don't trim the skirt down at all.
As explained, you try to get in there as they're crimping on. And for bass fishing guys and fishing guys, again, if you're not an offshore guy, I mean, it's a popper. I mean, you're just trying to get a little disturbance out there, a little protection. There's what it looks like up close.
Well, that's
squid chain on the left.
That's different. That's a mackerel on a squid chain with no hook in it.
So you talked about that earlier. So now we're getting to see. So there is the teaser, but that last bit has some what was once live action on it.
That's right. Spanish mackerel.
And the squid chain.
A lure over the top, and then you get the squid chain and then the Spanish mackerel at the end.
And we saw the colors. The squid imitators were blue here. We've seen pink as well. Oftentimes you'll see green, and that can be key also to turning on some of these fish.
Yoink.
Yeah, you'll change them out, and you'll actually change the lure on top of the mackerel or whatever bait you have out there, because sometimes it's that lure that's causing a nice bubble trail along with the, see that?
Hey, don't beat up the kickstand. Dave, watch out.
Well, he just said you're good, man. It's okay.
Oh,
It's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Fish came unglued.
Yeah, I didn't trust that. Dave would probably kick my ass.
They all get along really well. Ethan Regal in Gore Range Capital, one of their sponsors, not too far from us. Last year, he watched his team take victory, and you could see just how proud he was of those New Jersey Seabirds.
Fired up.
Again, the fishing days each and every day from 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. And the official timekeeper, Sport Fishing Championship Citizen, will be counting down the hours, minutes of every competition this season, all the way to the final seconds of the Zane Grade Championship playoffs, which will be in October. Looking forward to going back. The fishing possibilities are endless there. Yes, there's blues in the water, there's blacks in the waters, but striped are really prevalent. We saw last year's championship come down to the final moments. And it was the difference between one single blue, right? I mean, a blue made the difference. In a world of stripes, the blue makes a difference. Well, here, 4 blues make a difference.
Yeah, typically, when you're fishing for striped marlin, the blues you get in the mix of the striped marlin over in Cabo, they tend to be a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
They seem to match the size. And then when you start pulling the big stuff for marlin, and you go away from the very well-known striped marlin rich waters, you're apt to get a bigger fish. You're not going to have these guys run to the striped marlin grounds to catch a big blue marlin.
Right.
Typically. I'm sure it's been done many, many times, but typically, no.
All right, you're watching On Board, 7 boats fishing the Atlantic Division out there at Walker's Cay. They'll have to check back in this afternoon, get ready for day number 3, but we're about 36 minutes from completion of day 2 here at the Walker's Cay Open.
There is a small island at the top of the Bahamas, less than 100 acres. No hotel, no road in, just reef, open Atlantic, and water that drops 1,200 feet, 8 miles offshore. For serious fishermen, it needs no introduction. Walker's Cay has been the epicenter of offshore sport fishing for nearly 70 years. It's been leveled by hurricanes, left for quiet, and brought back by the people who refused to let it disappear. The boats came back, the crews came back, and the fish, well, they never left. Welcome back to the SFC's Walker's Cay Open.
You call it key, you call it K, I call it excellent. And look on this 100 acres, but they've got a nice airstrip there. Is that plane? Great way to bring you back and forth to Walker's Cay in the Bahamas. And Carl Allen, his family, his wife Gigi, everybody doing a great job. And whether it's offshore like we're seeing with blue marlin whites and sailfish, or whether it's inshore, I mean, you've got it all here, and you got a great way to get there. My son's a pilot. I'm going to have to get him to fly me out there here soon.
You know, when Carl invited us to go there, he goes, Peter, it gets you a couple grand slams. I'm like, oh, offshore? He's like, no, inshore and offshore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, didn't even think about that. Look at the facilities. And again, with the Hurricanes doing what they've done, you know, in decimating these areas, done a great job of building it back. And as far as accommodations, you're living on a boat for the week, so you better have some good buddies out there. It looks like I see Sarah reeling around. Speaking of that, I was going to say, there's only 5 on that boat, but it looks like she may be hooked up.
Yeah, she's definitely hooked up. She's getting pulled to the transom. Mahi or tuna, I think I heard him say.
Oh, didn't want that. They're still looking for their first billfish of the tournament. Remix.
Well, they had a monster on this morning, apparently. They don't know if it was a bluefin tuna or a big marlin.
Yeah, that's what Rudy was talking about, the big bounty for a grander. And in those cases, you trade it. You know, I'll give up the lone event for a chance at $1 million prize and having a grander on your resume. There's another boat in the background. Not sure who that is. They're around one of our SFC teams. There's also 20 total teams as far as the local event. We partner with a lot of great local tournaments. Here, I think SFC is in partnership with the Walker's Cay group. I know 2 of our 7 teams were in the top 2 teams on the local side. She's shaking her head. She doesn't like what she sees.
Yeah, Flip Pallet, as we all know, left us last year, unfortunately. He was a legend, icon, the GOAT of all goats, and he did a show out of Walker's Cay in 1992 called the Walker's Cay Chronicles. And he did it until about 2006 on ESPN. It was an incredible show. Great man, great fisherman, great storyteller. Did amazing things for conservation, and that's where he spent a lot of his time.
What do we got here? Saying long and skinny, I couldn't tell if it was what it was. A barracuda king.
A little barracuda.
Yes, I did call it a barracuda. How you doing? Not what you wanted.
Yeah, frustration's definitely set in.
Yeah.
Got to keep your chin up. Just takes a minute. Right back in it.
This is the team that finished 3rd at the first stop. Said, okay, we're where we needed to be. You know, finish in the top 3. Need another strong finish here. Going to be working to Charleston in 2 weeks. When you look forward to Charleston, the reason being East Coast Remix won Charleston last year. So another top 3 finish, and there's still chance. You know, there's still time and a full day tomorrow, but the Citizens lines out is at 30 minutes mark. And looking at the season standings and why it's so important, looking at the season standings is yeah, every individual event counts. You get 3,500 points, and there's a point total for a single event, right, Peter? But you have to finish in the top 2 from the Atlantic, top 2 from the Gulf to move on to the Zane Grey.
You want to be consistent. Makes it easy when you're consistent. But it's not easy to be consistent.
Yeah, no, that's true. And these are the point standings as they are right now because only one event for the Atlantic and the Gulf. It was a combined tournament in Key West. So you see the point values, but every event gives you a point value. They all add up.
And there's days when you just can't do anything wrong, and you'll do the same exact thing the next day, and you might miss fish after fish after fish. We spent some time in Dominican Republic. We were using a certain kind of hook, and every time we hooked up with a white marlin, we'd go into a turn. They were miraculously coming off left and right. We lost like 11 fish. We couldn't understand it. We realized that the light wire on our setups were opening up on the circle hooks, and the fish were coming off. We went to a slightly heavier wire on the circle hook, and we started catching every single one.
That's crazy.
And sometimes it's the opposite.
Were they bending the hooks before?
Yeah, they were opening.
Yeah.
It was light wire. It was really sharp light wire.
Which is usually good for movement and everything else. You
and
want
also for hook penetration, yeah. But you keep the boat in gear and the fish is going away fast, and your drag's set in a certain way, you just don't expect it, and then you're like, wait, let's try a heavier wire, and all of a sudden it was like caught everyone.
Yeah, as long as you got that penetration. Do you think, and we may be able to ask this question, South Florida Sales, do you think they went to the same grounds? I mean, you would think so, but
100%.
Day to day, how much movement, how much does that water change that line? Would it move from one spot to another?
You know,
a mile?
Sometimes
Less than a mile?
You can't predict that, Robbie. Sometimes the current changes, sometimes the, things move a lot. You know, these fish, when they're tailing down sea, for instance, they're going, 15 knots and they're hauling butt. They go by the boat so fast, and if they're going that way, they're going to be gone by the next day. So when you find fish in a spot on your practice day, you go back to the spot, you find fish. You go back there the next day, you're on the fish again. You got to think, well, something is holding them there.
Yeah. Or you're chasing them, you're kind of leading into where this place should be, right? Now the remix, there is another boat out there. It's in one of our other competitor boats. We actually talked to South Florida's sales team yesterday. When we went off air, we were able to get a word from Mike, because again, we're just guessing. We're here in the studio. We do have communication. We hope to have a word from them here in a bit. But we talked to Mike King, the captain of the South Florida Sales, yesterday after his competition day was over at Walker.
Over the years as a kid, I used to dream of coming here and fishing. And I was able to make a few outboard trips over here, probably going to show my age, but in the late 80s. And, it was some of my fondest childhood memories. And then as a modern time, since the hurricane that kind of devastated and changed the whole landscape of this place, I've been running sport fishing boats and spent a week here, a week there, off and on for the last 6 years. There's one thing for sure, it changes overnight. It can be some of the best fishing on the planet, and then the next day you think you got it figured out and you go out there and you see nothing. But it definitely, it's a great variety of fish out there right now. When you're waiting on your marlin bite, you could catch a nice dolphin or a tuna or something like that. So it's a good time to be here.
And that was actually talking to Mike before the tournament, but it was everything you just said, Peter. It can change overnight, and things haven't changed for this team as far as the catch.
And that's very interesting. It's always like what I always say is you're always learning. What can we learn from this experience? Well, going back to the same spot doesn't always pay off. Fishing the same area, but he said if I mark a fish, if I see a fish first thing in the morning, we're staying there. And if I get antsy, my team's going to keep me there because they're going to say, hey, this is what you said you're going to do, let's do it. And that's a great setup they got there. Everyone has to back everybody up. If everyone's second guessing and saying, I think we should do this, I think we should do this, the captain has the final call. Look, it's a democracy, right? Everyone has a chance to say their piece. You talk about it the night before. You throw a lot of ideas together. You mull it over, you sleep on it, you wake up, you go, you know what? I feel very strongly that we need to do this tomorrow, and that's what you do. The captain says that, you do it after you crunch all that information.
And sometime you get it right, sometime you get it wrong. We heard Rob Carmichael after day one say, I wish I would have. I wish I would have just stuck with the program and made a little bit different run. I zigged, I should have zagged kind of feel as we work our way through the field. North Carolina flare.
But the thing is, sometimes a certain boat, a certain hum, I keep coming back to these acoustics, in an area will raise the fish where the boat next to them won't.
Yeah.
We've had days where we couldn't catch a fish, everybody around us caught them. And then we've had days where we're catching them in the middle of a pack of 30 boats and we're catching sailfish after sailfish.
And as you talked about things change from day to day, look at the variables that were on board the Lights Out Boston. Think about the variables. We're not talking grouper fishing. These aren't wrecks or, you're not snapper fish, no vertical presentation. Every variable is moving. Wind, water, the current, the boat, every variable is moving. It's like I compare fishing to golf, except they're moving the hole the entire time.
And then you don't have confidence in what you're doing, which makes it even tougher. Like when you're having a good golf game, you stand over the ball, you've got confidence, and it's going to happen. It's going to be good. And then all of a sudden, you hit one bad shot, you start gripping the club a little tighter, you start rolling your wrists over, you start opening up, you're not turning as much, And that's the same thing with this. Like when you're catching, you feel like you've got it down. And when you catch for multiple days in a row, You know, first place dailies 2 days in a row, plus the pre-fishing and everything else. They've been there for a couple weeks. They really have it down.
Looking on board the breakers now, they got to feel like they're the golfer that just can't make a putt, right? I mean, I keep taking swipes, I keep doing it, I just cannot make a putt today, but they're still going to have another day of opportunity, and the Citizen lines out is 23 minutes and some change. Still have a chance today. They're 1 fish away from jumping into a tie of 4th, so anything can happen. It happens in a hurry. Now that other boat's getting a little bit closer to our competitive teams there. That's the East Coast Remix. They got the fans already. They're hoping things get hot here and they can get a billfish on before we're done. We're going to step aside for just a bit. South Florida Sales really having a strong day 2 after having a strong day 1. Seabirds, Outcast, Flare, all with catches. Breakers and Remix still looking for their first. Sign up for SFC's championship fish divisions for the chance to win cash. Represent your favorite angling club and compete across 4 categories of meat fish, whether it be the wahoo, the yellowfin, the swordfish, or the mahi-mahi. Fish anytime, as many times as you want between now and September 7th. You got to go to sportfishingchampionship.com/championship fish 2026 to sign up now. Sign up. Represent. Come home with some cold, hard cash, player. Welcome back to Sport Fishing Championships coverage of the Walker's K Open. 7 teams out on the waters. The Citizen lines out clock, 21 minutes and change. They will have to have those fishing lines out of the water. A little prep in the upper left. Everybody else is searching.
Looks like they cooked something and they're pulling the bones out. I can't even tell what's happening there.
Deboning?
I might be. I just might be hungry.
That'd be a nasty cutting board if that's the case, as far as you eating.
No, that's not cooked.
There's the fish kebab we were talking about earlier.
I had a bad angle on that.
Yeah. And no, that is not a snack. That is how they rig those ballyhoo getting ready.
Yeah.
Now they're prepping for tomorrow already.
You definitely don't want to eat those, but the key is to defrost them slowly, like you would a steak if you bought frozen steaks. Let them sit out in salt water in a bucket, because you don't want to take them out frozen and you don't want them to get soft. It's got to be a nice little balance. You've got the dowel there to poke the eyeballs out. You're going to be wrapping the wire or the floss through their eyeballs and then the weight. So that is the first step when you're prepping ballyhoo for the day or the next day.
This is all the preparation and they're trying to get ahead of the game or the program. Sometimes we'll see teams do this when they know they got longer. They'll do it in the morning, like getting ready, and maybe they've got a longer run. This team's getting ready for tomorrow's catch.
You want them to be brined. You want them to be salted. You want them to be nice and cold. So you want to do it, well before morning. If you got to do it during the day, that's a good thing. You're having a good problem because that means you went through your baits.
Yeah. But sometimes we'll see, say, golf teams that, very early in the morning and know that they still have to run hours and hours to get out to their fishing ground.
Here, you got no time. They're like, we're leaving the dock. Oh, line's
I got it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's still going to be a couple events before we move back to the golf division. The cool part about this season is we started with a golf/Atlantic tournament at the first stop, with the Atlantic side, Lights Out Boston taking the victory on the golf division, Third Coast Renegades picking up where they left off. So
you see the rubber gloves there, Robbie. That's important because you can get infections. When you're out there a lot and you get a little spine in your finger or some kind of something in a cut. I've seen some problems. You get some staph infections. You get some funky things going on. So guys are tending to use rubber gloves, keep the hands clean. Mechanics are using the rubber gloves, for the grease and that sort of thing, because then the cleaners you use on your hand take all the moisture out of your hands and then they crack. And then you get this funk in there. So it's a whole cycle of events when you're on a boat. You got to take care of yourself. Sunblock, gloves,
proper gear,
sunglasses,
hood clothing, and everything covered. I think makes a difference. South Carolina Outcast currently third in this event, second in the championship standings after that second place finish in the Atlantic. Very consistent out of them. Will be in their backyard, right? South Carolina Outcast is from Charleston, I believe, is where it normally lives, for that area. They actually had a miss earlier today on the Outcast that could have changed the standings. Again, they're only one fish out of second place. If this is a blue marlin and they get it on, they will jump from third to second outright.
Watching that bait down the middle of the spread. There it is. That's a marlin.
Yeah.
That's not a sailfish.
No, you saw that one single
That's a
fin.
thick bill. That was a thick bill.
Thick bill and the single fin instead of a
I didn't see the
sail.
fin. I just saw a thick bill. No.
I saw both of them. I saw him setting the hook. Why? We never see people hardly set the hook.
You know, a lot of times when a fish comes up like that and you drop back, you know, you want them to swim away to find that angle on the hook to be able to get in the corner. So when they're coming at you, it's tricky.
But how many times you taught me that the fish catches itself with that circle hook?
Yeah, well, it's just you don't have to do anything. You know, typically you're gonna put the rod tip low if they come up and eat, and lock it up, and you're going at 7 knots. You know, so let's see what's going on here.
Come on, bud.
Just as they took it out of gear.
Yeah, that was earlier. Come on, bud. And I only asked you that question because, yeah, sometimes you want to make sure you've got it penetrated, but I've heard you say a million times, let it do the work.
And sometimes, you know, it's just bad luck, Robbie.
Right.
You know, it's just bad luck. Well, I want to go to
The one that got away there for the Outcast, that was a blue marlin. That was the one that got away, and that could have put them into a standalone second after only getting the one sailfish by Trey Kimmerlin. Let's go over to Seabirds. You see something a minute ago on our 7 box?
Yeah, I continue to see it. Looks like Seabirds is on.
Yeah, boat up.
Rod's
some pressure.
The rod's bent. He's not doing anything. That squid chain still in the water. Dredge still in the water. This is a very recent occurrence here. Things are coming in, lowering the teaser, getting it out of the way.
So it's not like they're bringing in that teaser and they're presenting. He's hooked up. And
he's hooked up.
They're
that
clearing
fish
now.
is way scoped out. That fish is far off in the distance. That's why they weren't rushing with the teaser and the dredge at that point. It wasn't like the fish was coming into it. That's when you really want to get it in quickly. Especially like that blue marlin coming at the boat full speed right away.
Right.
You want to clear everything in case you got to maneuver in rapid fashion, which seems to be the case more often than not in this tournament.
And you're seeing the defending champs calm. They're collected. They've been here. They've done it. They're trying to go back to back. They've got some work to do, but if this is a 450 point fish, they'll make up some ground. It also separates them between them and the Outcast, because again, Outcast is
Outcast is one marlin away from jumping into second.
Yeah, and this is important. Even if this is a sailfish, that's still now it puts Outcast a blue plus.
That's right. you got your math right there, Robbie.
You always got to look at those possibilities, and the Citizen lines out clock less than 15 minutes total.
Backing down. They have a double. I can't tell what's going on. Where did they?
Oh yeah. Why would they? We've been a long time here. Why would they have? Why would they have 2 lines out?
They might have a double on. Oh, it's a weed. It's Pomposaurus.
Yeah. I was like, especially if you thought it was a blue.
13 minutes left. Citizens lines out, official timekeeper,
and people may say,
timepiece.
What if it's 14 minutes and they're still reeling? They're fine, right?
Hey, as long as you are hooked up before the 4 o'clock hour, that fish is going to count if you can get it to the boat and touch that leader or roll it through the tip.
And we did see contact there, the scissors cutting off that vegetation.
And you see the fish up and down right now. You know, they came back on it. Fish has a chance to sink when that happens, when you come back on and it's up on the surface. But he's been applying a very modest amount of heat and pumping and winding. That hand in the air just there made me nervous.
He was showing the armband identifier. And this boat in particular had some issues with the trim tab. So if they do back up the boat, if it's in a slightly downward motion, that trim tab, it will turn into a little bit of a shovel. And they're questioning whether it would possibly break off or not. So you know Blaine's being a little soft on the throttles as well.
All right, Robbie, so we have time for us to make predictions. We got 12 minutes left. The fact that he's not doing a lot of winding and the fish is down and dirty.
It's a blue.
I mean, I believe they've probably already seen it, identified it. We haven't seen it.
Right.
But this tells you that it's probably not a sailfish unless it's wrapped.
Yeah, it's wrapped. Yeah, getting faster. We're going to have to take a break. But yeah, the time that they're taking with this fish, if it were a sail and they know they can power it up there, redeploy, maybe get another one before time's out. Either way, the clock keeps on ticking there. Citizens line is out in 12 minutes. We'll follow up right after.
Nice watch. Citizen?
Yeah, Eco Drive. It's powered by light.
Like any light?
Yep.
Headlights?
Yeah.
Sunlight?
Yeah.
What about city lights?
Definitely.
Subway? Neon? Strobe light?
Those two.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco? Underwater?
Yeah.
This light? Spotlight? 10,000 spotlight!
Yeah, any light.
Cool.
Citizen Eco Drive. It is cool. Powered by light for 50 years.
Built for heat and sun. Designed by experience.
There he goes.
Battle-tested solutions for the fearless. Enetic. Comfort in chaos.
You'll never ever find somebody do it like me.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We kept you live in with the New Jersey Seabirds. I didn't get to see it, Peter. I was like, all right, tell me it was a blue, but was it a sail? Is it a blue?
Replay. Let's take a peek. That looks like
it's long and skinny.
That's a white.
Yeah, I think we got our another white.
That's a white we're on, baby.
If this were only South Florida sails, they would have that trifecta. They would have their Grand Slam. So now our second white of the tournament.
That's right. Now we've got 2 whites, 7 blues.
Is it or 8 blues? Right? Or no, you're right. 3.
Well, that's a nice moment for the team, huh? Seabirds. Getting to that 1,000-point mark.
I think they're still trying to turn.
Robbie, I'm 100% up
white. I'm not that good, but I didn't see a sail, and you know it looked more like a white body to begin with, and that already got it in going. It was a white.
1 hundo.
You can say Dino White instead of Dynamite.
Let's see. Vanna White. That's Vanna White.
And you
look at the size of that peck. Look at the size of the peck.
Yeah, no, that was
and those jumps and the girthiness of it, and when it jumps right here. Yeah, that's a white.
And you have talked about how sometimes they can lay that dorsal down if it were something different.
It's just everything. I mean, it said white from the second it showed itself.
Yep. And we confirmed
And then
that.
it continued to show itself at 100 points.
Stuck
Get them to 1,000 now.
Because Band-Aid stuck on me. Add those points up. So now 1,000 for the New Jersey Seabirds. They're just like the Jeffersons. They're moving on up, Peter.
That's right to the east side.
Yeah, and they actually are probably more west side, but I mean northwest side. But we'll see. Back to food prep for tomorrow.
Well, they're very, very, very far east of the Atlantic seaboard.
This is true.
Oh man, Flair's taking a little back bender there.
Yeah.
It's a couple of tennis ball rollers back there.
Where's Fridays when you need it? It's on a Saturday, but my neck and my back. $150,000 or a foot in the boat. That's the way I fish. I mean, I don't know about you.
Robbie, I've seen you fish, and yes, it's true. I remember you laying down on the lean post in the middle of it, and you're like, oh, this kite fishing is a lot more arduous than I thought.
It is. I don't know if I could deal with the rocking of the boat. I mean, I haven't really gotten seasick.
Robbie, I just got the Seakeeper, and I got the Seakeeper Ride trim tabs on the back of the boat.
Good now.
I just had them installed, and I can't wait to get home and try them. Just had it finished.
And you and I both, you said, hey, Robbie, look at this boat, look at that boat, and you saw a lot of rocking out of some and some out of others. Surely all of these have a Seakeeper on board. Surely, right? You would think.
I mean, I know, for instance, I mean, I can officially say that the Remix has it, right? And I can officially say that Lights Out has it. I'm not sure about, all the other boats. I assume
breakers are slick as can be in that
today's
stuff.
day and age, you're going to have the Seakeeper.
Yeah, why wouldn't you, right? Unless you just like rocking back and forth. I mean, look at how still the team in the upper right, the breakers, Rhode breakers in the orange. I mean, again, it depends on which direction they're going, but I mean, it is really calm. Yeah, that horizon's not moving too much.
Pink Floyd.
Cousin Floyd. That's my nickname in racing. That and Pretty Boy Floyd. I don't know where they got that one. Wouldn't because I'm a gangster.
Robbie, when you're 5 minutes out, you want to be fishing harder than ever. This is not the time to, bow your head down and accept what the day has offered or presented to you. This is when you got to just fish harder, change the baits, even if it's 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Put out a fresh bait. That could be all the difference. Sometimes the fish are under the boat. They're watching. I mean, you heard South Florida Sails have a marlin chase them around for 3 full circles. Imagine what goes on under the boat, right? When in the prop wash, these fish are coming up, looking. They're all over the place, and if you deploy and sink back a fresh ballyhoo that just looks perfect, that might be just the key to get that bite.
Outcast to lift up, and that's something you see because again, if you just get hooked up before time expires, you are fine. But when Outcast reached, for that rod reel, that's typically also what you see in that last 5 minutes. I'm gonna have my hands on.
Always.
I mean, I'd be that guy. I mean, you still feel it through that rod tip, right? I mean, you can feel some little change or something.
Well,
like.
usually you'll have it in free spool with your thumb on it, and you'll have a forefinger and a thumb or a middle finger holding the line just in case you turn away to look at somebody. You want to feel that little pop before anything comes tight or the fish comes up jumping. You don't want them to feel it if at all possible. That's why those wild bites where they come up and just wail on it, it could be either good or bad. But you really want to be able to drop back, let them get it down, push the drag up slowly, put the tip down, let the hook find its mark in the corner. That's the goal.
Teaser adjustment there with the electric reel.
Yes, that's the LP reels. They're now about $8,000-9,000 a piece.
Ooh, that's
and then you get another spool that'd be titanium to add to that, so you can use it for dredges, you could use it for deep dropping, you can use it for anything.
Flair's reeling, but I think that's just trying to put it in the proper spot. Shake off some cabbage. Looking at the 7 boats out there fishing with a little over 3 minutes remaining.
I think they should have a mini hermit crab race or just a regular crab race and shake the crabs out from the sargassum that they get with a net out there, and you shake them off and you get baby crabs in there. Keep them alive. Everyone brings a baby crab. That's going to be the new crab race. You heard it here, folks. I want you to get on that, guys. It's important. I think Bubba's listening in, and he knows now.
And I like how you mentioned how those crabs are not performance enhanced. They are not little crackhead crabs running around, you know, getting hopped up at the last minute.
Right.
Continue today.
Yeah, they don't watch Breaking Bad. You know, they're clean. You know, they're keeping it clean.
We've seen it before, waiting for that last second hookup. We saw it at the first event of the season with Louisiana Canyons, Jason Berthelot. Well, when our clock hit 0, they got hooked up right after, but we do have a delay between these cameras, the satellite, and back to our control room. So we usually give it probably, I'd say a safe 8 to 10 seconds, but again, it has to be verified from their camera with the timestamp of when they get hooked up.
So as it stands right now, we've got Florida Sails winning the daily again, and the Seabirds with another 100 points at the last few minutes here with a white marlin release. They went from 900 to 1,000. And then you've got Outcast handedly in third place for now. Anything can happen, Robbie.
Yeah.
Minute 40.
And that daily's on the local side of things. Yesterday, Carl Allen was down there dockside. I think I saw Courtney Houston and Mark Neifeld delivering a tomahawk steak that Rudy brought across in his Yeti ice chest and had it prepared. So today, the daily winner will also get that tomahawk steak, some Moet Hennessy bubbly to celebrate as well.
That's class, baby.
Yeah.
That is class.
Popping bottles at the Walker's Cay Open. One team will get to raise that flag just like the New Jersey Seabirds did last year.
Could this be the perfect location? Grand slams on either side, on the flats and offshore, and then coming back and getting tomahawk steaks and champagne, and then having some crab races and having some fun.
Making me hungry.
Oh boy.
Come on. I'm gonna, push some Chick-fil-A your way just to celebrate tonight.
Well, tease me. I thought it was Sunday for a second.
Citizen lines out, getting closer. At this point, everybody's got a hand on a rod and reel. Everybody's looking for identification. The captain will have his hand on the microphone, ready to call it in.
You know, the South Florida Sails with 5 fish today. Make that 4.
4 yesterday, 4 today, right?
That gives them 8 total.
Yep.
4 blue marlin. 3 of them caught by Lee Albarty.
They say consistency wins championships, and Citizens lines out is dropping to 0, and we're seeing consistently that the South Florida Sails are doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's catching billfish, and not only billfish, they are catching blue marlin.
And we can officially say that it's official because the fish have been identified and leadered and okayed by the committee that the Sails did indeed get first place on day 2 as well as day 1. With 8 fish under their belt, with 4 blue marlin to their names. That is impressive work.
3 blues today and a sailfish. They just keep adding to that tally. Hey, let's step aside. Well, I hope to hear from one of these teams when we return, but either way, it's time to put up South Florida Sails 2,475 points. Just pick it up right where they left off on day 1. The Walker's Cay Open is sponsored by Blanchard Cat, Manoli Capital Management, R3, and Tribe Kelly. You know, BK, Brian Kelly and Tribe Kelly watching this going, man, I thought the Gulf was where all these blue marlin live, but we're showing that the Atlantic's looking pretty good, isn't it?
It sure is. The bite is pretty good for some of the boats. Ratios may not be as good for some of the boats, but I'll tell you, the South Florida Sails, they are putting on a clinic out there with 5 blue marlin under their belts, and that's pretty impressive work in a 2-day period.
Yeah.
So you know, it's really difficult to understand why are they catching so many fish. Well, the captain told us yesterday they didn't miss a single fish, and I'm wondering maybe that's the same deal today.
Yeah, and the thing that the only piece that they're missing is that white marlin to get a grand slam. Let's take a look at the points right now. These are the official points brought to you by No Rivals. So again, 1,475 point advantage. It's going to be hard for the Seabirds to make up that ground, but who knows? The South Florida Sails could blank. The New Jersey Seabirds could get 3 blues, and we have a flip-flop. It could happen. If you're the remix and breakers, you need to get points. You need to get a couple of blues to move up because, again, after we finish tomorrow, we will only be a third of the way through our season. Speaking of, it is a long season. With us for the entirety of it, welcome back to our studio, Mike King, the leader after not 1, but 2 days here at Walker's Cay. Great job, bud.
Yes, sir. It's been another fabulous day. The wind picked up this afternoon and kind of made the fish bite for us.
Mike, that's impressive work. It's Peter here. Congratulations on your day again. And did you go to that same spot, or did you kind of follow, you know, where you saw your first fish, and that's where you stayed today?
Well, this morning the water did not have the same look as it did yesterday. So I ran a little further west till I ran out of time, but I was only 4 miles or so from it. And as the day went along and the wind picked up, it blew the pretty water back into my spot, and I stayed there the rest of the afternoon.
So things kind of came to you. It's kind of coming to you as far as the points are concerned as well. 2 blues on day 1, 3 blues on day 2. Are we going to expect 4 blues out of you on day 3?
Absolutely. Why would we let up?
I like that thought. But as far as location, so you're still looking for that right kind of color, but is it all about the color, or have you been looking at like some of those charts that are showing the currents and trying to stick with certain areas like that?
There's a lot of deep water bait here and stuff in certain areas, and like I said, we got it working right now, and you know, I really don't know what the trend is other than it's our turn, and we're enjoying it.
How was the, you know, yesterday you said, hey, we didn't miss a fish. We had 1 looker that, you know, we circled around 3 times and didn't bite. How was the ratio looking today?
My crew was 100% again today. We saw another blue marlin that followed. Actually, we saw 2. We saw a blue marlin that was hanging out by the dredge beside the boat. We could not get to bite. And then we were looking at a really large blue marlin, a lot bigger than the ones we've been catching. It was following a long rigger, and tried to get the big pitch to him. And then another marlin showed, I guess it was a double or the male that was with the female, and we hooked it. And, you know, that's just the way things go when it's going your way.
I got a question. The big man, you said he had the peepers out yesterday. Ben Simmons saw one of those blue marlins. We have not seen him with a rod and reel in his hand. Will we have a chance to see him tomorrow, a chance at his first catch on Sport Fishing Championship? And you're only a white marlin away, which we just saw the second white being caught. If it's a white, you got to get him to complete the slam, don't you?
Absolutely. He's enjoying his role. He's got really, really good eyes, and he's been spotting a lot of the fish for us so we can be in position when it's time to switch them.
Hey, which boat is that right behind you? Because we were wondering if anybody was in your tracks today.
I think that's the lights out.
Well, you were lights out today.
I can see I'm almost that lights out, and I see the remix off my bow, and the boat that just caught the last blue marlin, he's here as well.
So, hey, you're around some big-time company. Hey, congratulations on your second day. You've still got another day to prove you're the best, and you can raise that flag and take home that Walker's Cay prize.
That sure would be amazing, but like you said, we'll turn the page tonight and try again tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Mike King, the captain of the South Florida Sails. Man, Peter, that guy can do no wrong. And we questioned what boats might have been around him. Remix, lights out, only 1 fish between the 2 boats. And then another boat that caught a blue while they're catching multiple blues. They're doing something right.
It's almost as if Those boats are scaring the fish over to their base. You know, that's a problem. Our boat is scaring the fish over to the other boat. You know, listen, sometimes, like I said, Robbie, you got the hum. It's happening, and it's just meant to be, and you can't miss. I mean, when you have a double header blue, I mean, people would die for one blue, and then they have a double, and they've already caught 3. I mean, this is some incredible fishing. They're experiencing 100% catch ratio. He went to his water. He didn't like it. They moved 4 miles west of there, and then all of a sudden the wind blew in and allowed the good water to come back to the spot that they'd caught them the previous day. And guess what? They were back on them, and they had a jumbo, a big fat girl, a big blue marlin, and a male blue marlin come in, and the male wound up eating the bait, thank God, because it made it a little easier. It'd been nice to have a double header. Imagine that, a 600-pounder and a 200-pounder. That'd be some cool video. But they're doing great work. It's very rare to see 100% ratio on back-to-back days. That's going to be really tough to catch up to. I congratulate them and congratulate the Seabirds on getting that white marlin at the end. That's always nice to see a different species show up.
Yeah, it is cool. They need to bottle up some of that water and take it back with them and get ready for the next stop. But again, you can't count anyone out. They know it. There's still one more day of fishing ahead. We can see teams move up or down. Again, this is a long haul in that fight for the Zane Gray Championship playoffs. We wrap things up today. Join us tomorrow. The action continues. Walker's K on SFC YouTube channel. Social hour at 1 o'clock Eastern. For Peter Miller, Chloe Turner, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you tomorrow. The Walker's K Open presented by me and you, Peter. Tomorrow on ESPN and YouTube. Let's do it again. You ready?
I am so ready, Robbie. I want to see these fish behind the boat and on the scoreboard.
We'll see you then, everybody. Thanks for joining us.